Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
We could shit our horses for like 30 seconds,
That's
right?
about all I would do. That's about all the shit I got into me. I'm not really backed up, you know. Here we go. That's the material we're working with.
No, we're already in it.
Oh,
this
God,
is what
really?
It is. Yeah. We're backed up or not backed up. We're full of shit.
We really are that. Yeah.
This is already great. This is great radio.
Good stuff.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Adam Ganser.
And we just watched the 2023 WWE Royal Rumble. Oh, it's regal.
Every superstar
30 men, 30 women.
has an origin.
2 epic matches.
Every journey
The ultimate prize at stake.
has a destination.
The last man and woman standing win a championship opportunity at WrestleMania.
The road to glory
The Royal Rumble match.
begins.
Yeah, it was. It was very regal.
Yeah.
What a star-studded event it was.
It really was. Adam,
Yeah.
first of all, a couple little bits.
Some notes.
First of all, a big shout out to Norm from Cheers. He's our Patreon producer who allowed this to happen, who made it happen.
Who brought this to us?
Yeah, who was demanded that we watch Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Well, he loves it. He loves it so much.
Yes, this is true.
He should also know he spoiled the results for me by posting stuff on Discord, and I was about to be like, you ruined it, bro. But you know what? It's all full circle, really.
Yeah, it's all full circle.
So I think that's funny
Alpha
now.
and Omega.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I believe Norm was responsible for the last time we did this. I'm glad Norm did this, and I'll explain why.
Me too.
Soon. But first, I want to thank you, Adam, for coming on here out of the kindness
pleasure.
of your own heart.
My pleasure. Well, and also the joy of our friendship and the joy of wrestling.
Yeah, the joy of wrestling.
Yeah, it was joyful.
Of course, it's
we had a
always
good
joyful.
time. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, we made a little party of it.
We made a day of it. Yeah, we did.
We got the boys together.
We really
ate
did.
some za.
Yep.
You made some coffee.
Yep. Yeah, there were sodas and beers and various other
things.
eaten things. There were things that were eaten.
Things were eaten.
Things were definitely eaten.
Yeah, this sounds really weird to put it that way.
And it was really weird to watch, let me tell you.
Adam, before we all get started here, I just want to give you an opportunity to tell the world anything you want to, like a plug or a brief manifesto.
Oh God, I'm gonna write one.
Need.
I'm gonna write one of these times, Dave, and
One
just
of
show
these
up,
times.
and it's gonna be fucked up. Yeah, so it's gonna be awful. Like fuck, that's what he
2 hour
thinks.
long, yeah.
That's what he thinks. Socialism isn't left enough. Oh my God. No, so hey guys, you may or may not have heard my voice before on our sister podcast network, Small Beans, where I do so many podcasts with so many heroically funny people like Michael Swaim and Abe Epperson and Maggie Mae Fish and others as time allows. Go check that out if you haven't. And of course, my premier project is the video game podcast One Upsmanship. We work hard in the video game minds for you to find the 100 greatest games of all time, and we're doing it every week. So check that out. It's available everywhere. Thanks for the opportunity to pitch.
Have you found them yet? Can you list them off?
I found
right
a
now?
few. Yeah, you want a list of what we got so far?
Yeah, let's start with 100.
Do you really want?
No, it's all right. I feel like that's on your own show. You do that.
And also, that's just a lot of dead air, bro. That's a whole lot of dead air.
That's fair.
Dave did walk over and see me playing Dead Space. Like that when he showed up at my apartment. to watch this. He watched Dead Space, and that is one of the 100 greatest games, according to us.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I'll be on an episode soon to add another one of the greatest games.
Yeah, I bet you will. I bet you will. You'll certainly try.
Yeah. I feel an obligation to. Do you want my wrestler pitches now, or should we
God.
wait?
How many have you got? That's what I want to know first.
It's sort of, there's 2 solid ones, and then it sort of just becomes names after that.
I'd say
I don't have
let's do like overall recap, first pitch, then like one of the Rumble's second pitch, and then Devil May Care after that.
Okay.
Is that too structured for you?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to think, this is, I guess, spoilers for how I feel about Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Thank you, Norm, because I think this is the best Royal Rumble I've seen.
It's not the best one I've seen. That honor goes to 1999's Royal Rumble, where Vince McMahon won. One of the greatest pieces of human entertainment ever conceived.
Sure.
But this was a very good one, and I read some reactions, and it seems like the Wrestleverse also thinks this was a very good one.
Yeah. People are very, people are happy about Gunther. We love Gunther.
Gunther is apparently not an off-brand nobody like he seemed to us when we were watching
seems like it.
Yeah, well, that's probably the best thing. The best thing
made
about
him such a hero.
He really was. The best thing about this episode is neither Dave nor I know what the fuck is going on in wrestling. Yes. We don't know anything. We were like, what is happening right now?
Even footing.
Yeah. It's going to be a real fucking bumblefuck episode of this podcast.
Right. This isn't going to be an expert analysis.
Oh, no. It's going to be the most basic shit you've ever heard.
Right. Well, we were both confused about Rey Mysterio. And from what I'm reading, that you were supposed to be confused. We don't know.
Yes, that was reassuring because I was like, I don't know what happened, and they never explained it. So yeah, but that was apparently.
I didn't know if he was just actually out sick. That would be weird. I feel like they would just get rid of the intro if he was actually sick.
You'd think they'd just replace him, but they didn't. So yeah. I guess also there was a funny fumble there. His son couldn't tear the mask.
Right, and that's why I was like, "Look at this wiener." Yeah, like did he come out the last second because his dad couldn't get on?
Well, I guess there's a rivalry between them. I guess it's like a very Hamlet situation going on there.
Yeah,
and that's fine. It's just funny that he couldn't tear the mask, which maybe maybe that's helping the story somehow. But it was a real poor look for him, really bad look. Yeah.
Well, unless that was the point. If he was trying to look like a little wiener, he succeeded.
Yeah, he really looked like a little wiener. Yep, he really did.
Yeah. My big overall takeaway, and we'll start, of course, with the Men's Royal Rumble because that's where they started.
Great.
I was thinking about this real hard because, what they do is they do Men's Royal Rumble. Then they do they fuck around with we'll talk about the Pitch Black match.
Yep. Mountain Dew presents the Pitch Black match. Yeah.
Which I would argue was the low point. And then there was the Women's Championship.
Yeah.
And then they did Women's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And at that point, I think the Women's Royal Rumble and men's were kind of neck and neck for me. But then we'll talk about this final one. And that's going to kind of steal the show, right?
Like the final match with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens? Yeah. That was the story piece of the show.
Right. And the reason I bring this up is because the biggest surprise for me was that if anybody has listened to the previous ones about this, I haven't, but I do seem to remember that I was unimpressed with the men generally.
Yeah, you kind of start with a basic opinion of the men, which is they're all sort of interchangeable. Like that's your baseline.
And they were
opinion.
very boring. They were very boring to me.
Yeah.
This time they brought it.
They were better.
The women's what I think were just as good, but the men brought it, and then the final match kind of, But let's start with. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're doing great. I think you're doing fucking great, Dave. I'm thoroughly enjoying the entertainment you're bringing as your co-host. Really enjoying
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Dave and I had such a wonderful afternoon. The joy afterglow's still here.
Oh yeah, 100%. I had a great fucking evening.
It was really nice, wasn't it?
A day and evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I got home, I was like really happy, and it was rainy out. It was like
Yeah.
a noir detective film.
It really was. Yeah.
And I got into bed, and I was just like a little cozy bear. It was great.
Yeah. Abe came over. Brendan came over. It was old times. It was pretty great.
Yeah. We had a whole thing.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we watched, and the point is we watched wrestling, right? That's the point of this story.
Well, as I
that
we watched it, yeah. As the point is, we watched it. No,
So,
like,
okay.
As I was saying when it was happening, though, I feel like the best podcast would have been watching us watch it in real life.
Right. I was talking about old Methy. Who is Meth? I just know him as Meth.
When Edge came out, everyone uniformly believed that's what a meth head looks like, right?
I'm pretty sure, Meth and he has a wife, right?
He has a wife, Beth Phoenix.
I'm almost certain one of the ones we watched, they did a double team with another couple.
Yeah, they did. Those two have done that.
And their vibes, it's fucking, it's trailer park fight vibes. Like that's what they have going on.
It's
like
withered out
Edge
meth
came
couple.
out and he was like just it was like if you put meth in that cupboard from the Indian in the cupboard and it came alive. And it came out.
It would look like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would look like him.
Yeah. It really would.
And he I feel like he didn't last that long. But boy, what a time we had.
I would say
with Meth.
if we're gonna use this as our metaphor, Meth had a pretty nice evening overall because there was a couple wrestlers that clearly felt like they were in the family or they'd also been withered down by meth use. And, and also just the fucking the bananas color patterns of some of these wrestling outfits.
Oh yeah,
feel like they would appeal,
Yeah, I wanna ask a question because the
Great.
spoilers.
Great.
The winner was Cody
Rhodes. Yeah, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, who looked terrifying.
In the neon bleached white thing, his hair.
And like his smile, he looked uncanny valley.
A little bit.
Like
yeah.
he felt like a Max Headroom.
Yeah, a little bit.
And he's fine. I don't know what his deal is.
He's back in WWE after a long hiatus where he went to the rival wrestling outfit called AEW that's been doing great by and large. Like they're a real rival now. And
Right.
he was sort of like underused in WWE for years, and so they just sort of cut him. And then he went over and like rocketed to the top of their roster, is my understanding. And then WWE's like, actually back to base, and now they're building him up for presumably a title match with Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care about this guy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like it better than when they were like trying to build up Brock Lesnar, and I was like,
Oh no,
Like,
for sure.
And I would argue Brock Lesnar, whatever they've done to him now, the recalibration was way better. He was like a circus bear that got loose in this.
Yeah, the racist genie thing he's doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it worked because it wasn't like he wasn't like the star of this thing. And that would I just got just enough of him to be like, hey, that was fine.
He still has chaos that I feel like none of the other wrestlers bring. He feels, and it might be just the MMA background. When he shows up, it definitely feels like something fucked up's happening now.
Right?
And
I
that's
mean,
good for the show.
He's the guy in the movie that like someone accidentally calls a lunkhead, and he turns around and he's like, "What did you call me?"
Right.
Like he would be a character in No Holds Barred.
Oh,
he
for
would be
sure.
perfect. You could play most of the characters in that.
Yeah, he could play Hulk Hogan across from himself. That'd be great. Just double Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he's just got that thug, like just big fucking thug.
Yeah, he's got the
vibe.
baked bean teeth and the big red face, and you know, again,
I guess I was gonna ask, who do you think like Cody Rhodes technically won, but who like really won? Who was the real winner in your heart?
MVPs of the Men's Royal Rumble, I would have to say Gunther probably had the best night.
Gunther is the best, hands down, and we need to talk about Gunther.
Yeah, Gunther is apparently Intercontinental Champion. He looks like an old school jobber. He looks like a guy that's job was to go out and lose matches to Hulk Hogan in the 90s. Like that was his job.
He's like Depression era in my head. He had this like World War II haircut.
Yeah,
and his name's Gunther, and like. I didn't know when you guys were calling him Gunther at first. I thought you just gave him that as a nickname. Yeah, because he does look like a Gunther.
Yeah,
but he looks like one of fucking Elliot Ness's men. You know?
Yeah. If he was in a tag team called the Farm Boys, would you be even a little bit surprised?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And the beauty of Gunther was that when he came on, like I literally saw him and I was like, see, that's the problem. He's the problem.
Right.
He comes out. He looks like he looks like the default character when you're creating your own wrestler.
Yes, he does. Yep. He really does.
And I was like, look at this fucking honky. This guy's nothing. Look at fucking Gunther. What a filler guy. And it was him and Sheamus, I want to say.
Sheamus, who also had a great night, I would say. Sheamus was like in the mix for so long, and it was like, really? Sheamus is hanging around? I kind of love him for that.
Yeah,
it's just great for him. Yeah, I love it when he does bullshit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm into it. Yeah, but they were the first two.
Gunther just earned my love because what happened was Gunther never fucking he never left the ring. He was there the whole goddamn time.
Yeah, right to the very end. That's correct.
Yeah, and he was getting more and more fucked up and like scratched up, and it was just like, you earned my love, Gunther.
Yeah,
you fucking simple bastard. I love you.
He really started to win over the heart of our group, which I think I can tentatively title Contrarian Incorporated.
Sure.
We were all like big time Gunther stands by about the time Seth Rollins started rolling out, around about the midpoint.
I think Gunther should have won. I think that would have been amazing. It would have been so amazing.
Can you imagine the marquee Gunther and Roman Reigns?
Gunther.
That's their match. Gunther.
And I would have loved it if all the interviews with him, he was just like, I'm not very remarkable. Like he had nothing to say about himself either. Like he can't hype himself up.
Yeah.
He's like eating a pear.
Yep.
I want to be eating a pear.
Yeah.
And like shining his shoes or
Looking
something.
forward to the match with Roman Reigns. I think I'll really give him something to remember. You're like, no, you won't.
Reading the newspaper.
No, you won't. Yeah, I totally agree. He could have been part of that ridiculous outfit that I'll never get rid of in my heart. That was the Vaudevillains. Like he could have been part of that.
Yeah.
Remember the Vaudevillains?
Exactly.
That's the right tone for him to be more than an NPC. If that's what we wanted, that's what it would be.
Well, that was what I liked about Gunther is he was like, it was like Free Guy.
Yeah.
He was an NPC that like became a hero.
Yeah.
And like that, man, that was huge. And he didn't even do anything that impressive the whole night. It was just that he was there.
It was
like,
so funny that he kept being there. It was really funny that he kept being there. Yeah.
He's like that dude at the party not talking to anyone. Like
but
he
won't
was
leave.
awkward. Yeah, and he just sort of like Frankenstein around and this like it would sort of like toss people. But like I don't remember him doing a one thing that impressed me.
No.
Other than just being there.
Getting cut a little
Constantly.
bit and being average in every way.
I loved him.
There were definitely some people that we instantly hated, but I don't want to go into that yet because I want to answer your first question, which was other winners of the night.
Yeah.
So I think, and I hate to say this, but I think it's true. I think the other big winner that isn't Cody Rhodes was probably Logan Paul.
I was also going to bring him up.
You know,
now
he had
Logan
a really
Paul
good night.
He's a terrible person.
Yeah.
I actually saw him in person at the
really?
Streamies.
Was it impressive? Why were you there? Why were you at the Streamies? Why were you there?
Cody got nominated.
Oh, that's fun.
Cody
I
and
forgot
Katie.
about that. Oh, yeah.
And so we went to one Streamy, and then we were like, never again. But nothing against the Streamies. It was just like a lot of people way younger than us and more excited than us.
Right. They're not doing this for a living yet, like you are. They're not having a career here yet. Yeah.
Yeah. But point is that like Logan Paul needed to do something, and I don't know who advised him on this, but he came out and he played up the fact that people don't like him.
He was perfect. He was perfectly scripted.
Yeah,
like
and
perfectly
it's to the point
scripted.
where like it feels like his entire career leading up to this point might have been like a secret WWE stunt to get him up there.
That's what's so great about him is he really could he really folds so neatly into the wrestling is it a work question. He's so perfect for that. You know?
And he's one of those guys that's like, if he gets hurt, it's just like I really feel good about that.
Right, and you
I'm just
line
like,
him.
oh yeah,
you
you
line
hurt
all-
that little shit.
You line
And they
all
beat
his
him down. They beat him down immediately.
Yeah. You line all his bullshit up and go, really, that guy? And then you remember Triple H like kidnapped Stephanie and like Undertaker had him crucified and shit. It's like, well,
Right.
I guess it does fit. I guess
Right.
that's where he is.
There's definitely a conversation to be had about Logan Paul in general.
Yeah, sure.
Who is again
Sure.
a terrible person. It seems, and there is a conversation to be had about this new ecosystem, which I would argue, there's those people online, like I forget, I don't remember these fucking people's names, who they tweet shit where you're like, surely you're a parody. Like the ultra, like the people who are like, I bought M&Ms just to throw them in the sewer, and it's like, surely you know you're a parody, right? Like, and it feels like they are, and I'm wondering, like, have we now entered an era of social media where there are people who do that, who are just, I mean, I'm asking this like a question,
I
but
would argue-
I know 100% this is the case. People who are like, any attention is good attention.
I would
right?
argue that like there were earlier markers before internet culture, like Paris Hilton and some others
Absolutely.
that were like
100%.
that were like all news is
and
good
this
news.
is what wrestling is too.
Yeah.
Like heels, professional, real life heels.
Right.
The problem with that is, of course, I mean, it's a whole other conversation. And Logan Paul has done shitty things, confirmed shitty things, and so like it feels weird to have someone who goes on stage and he's like, "Yeah, I'm an actual shitty guy, and I'm gonna make money from it."
It's weird to
and so, like,
recognize that he deserves to be cheered in this context because it's a great use of him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's like this is really smart in a way that's like I shouldn't like this, but also
It's
it's well
slimy.
done. Yeah, it's well done.
Yeah, and
Right.
mind you, he's not the only person to do this.
No,
Trump was on
Right, of course.
fucking WWE. Vince
Right.
McMahon himself, not a good guy.
Right.
And the point being that is a different conversation that I don't think we can do justice here. In a vacuum, he did very good during this.
he was great
You know
in
what I mean?
this. Yeah, he was great.
He did a move that was actually like clear, like that was actually made you go, "Oh fuck," you know, like in a very impressive where they both got on either side and they just collided. Not sure why.
Yeah,
like
Ricochet
the
and him.
story motivation for doing that.
Well,
two men just slamming into each other and hurting each other.
It was a
but
cool
it was
stunt.
fun to watch.
It was a cool stunt.
Yeah.
Ricochet, the wrestler I mentioned to you when he came down, I was like, that's the best actual high flying wrestler I've ever seen.
Right.
And you can see that is true. That was a pretty big stunt. But I would
Right.
say, I mean, the stunt is going to be like memorable. Everybody's going to remember that moment. But I would say it's more than that. It's that he was booked in such a way that you were afraid he was going to win the match because of he was hanging around and stuff. And he kind
Logan
of
Paul?
and he like disappeared for a little bit, but wasn't eliminated, which is a classic move. And then it was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. It was down to him and like two other guys, and you're like, oh man, are they going to let Logan Paul win? It was fucking perfect. It was perfectly done.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing about wrestling, and I don't know too much about behind the scenes. But all right, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
but the way this seems to work, Royal Rumble,
Yep.
is that there's a lot of people who come on, like Booker T, who are just legacy people, who are basically making the equivalent of a cameo.
Yes, that's correct.
And a cameo, I'll boil it down to the idea of a cameo. And a cameo in a TV show or movie implies one of two things. You're on your way up or you're on your way down. And what I mean by that is like Daredevil showing up in the new Spider-Man. That's setting up, ooh, they're going to make another fucking Daredevil, right? As opposed to like Jeff Goldblum showing up in Thor, and they're just like, we have Jeff Goldblum. We don't have him for much. He's not going to do a big thing. Let's just have him for this.
I
It's
would
not really on his
say-
way down, but you know what I mean? Or like in a TV show where it's like when David Duchovny wasn't doing the X-Files, he started showing up sparingly. And so that was the vibe I got. Like Booker T is like a legacy guy that they're like, let's get you on there. You're a cameo to celebrate your career. Whereas people like Logan Paul and some of these youngins, they're like, let's get you on there. And we're kind of giving you a test. Like you're getting a small bit part to see how people react. Johnny Knoxville showing up.
So
like
I think you're conflating categories. So like I would say there's in wrestling they're slightly different. So like there is a category in Royal Rumble of old wrestler returns, right? And the point of it is really just it's fun to see him, you know, like bringing him out and just like reminding you of the legacy of wrestling. And that's really what Booker T's thing was. I read up on that. Apparently every time he does a spin-a-rooney, he immediately gets eliminated, and that happened in the match, and that's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So there's stuff like that. I think Edge's meth return, it also falls in that category.
Yeah,
so
he did his meth stuff, and then he left.
That's one category. Legend returns for a fun cameo. Then there's a second category, which is person returns from injury, and so it's actually like now they're back in the show. Right? So that I don't know exactly who fell into that category this time because I'm not keeping up with it. And there's a third category, and it's the best one, which is new character is launched. Right? New character. So, and I don't know for sure if any of those happened in the men's Royal Rumble. I know some of them happened in the women's Royal Rumble.
Right. But it's still the equivalent of a cameo, which is you pop in, pop out. You're not going to win this thing. You're not going to be there the whole time.
Sometimes they do. That's the thing. Like with Royal Rumble, sometimes they do. Like I want to say John Cena had a return. Like he was unexpected. He was the 30th guy, and I think he won. Like so, the rules. That's the best thing about the Royal Rumble is it really is difficult to predict what's going to happen. Right,
and I guess what I was getting at with Logan Paul.
Yeah,
and like what's funny is wrestling is. The company is exploitative, right?
Oh, yeah.
They basically own these guys.
And they don't pay them what they're worth. Correct.
Right. When it works is when someone who's bigger than WWE shows up. And that's what Logan Paul felt like. Is like he was like, I want to do this. And they're like, okay, well, you're going to get beaten down. You get one cool move, and then you're out of here. And that's what he has to do. Where they're like, it's bigger than him. So they're not going to make him win. They're going to... make it well. I do think they're looking to have him.
I think he's viable,
become a regular guy, right?
Definitely, they signed him to a contract. I think, and also, he is legitimately viable. I think that's what that showed. Like, I don't think he earned his stripes at all. I don't think that happened at all.
It's a test. It's like we'll bring you on. You're not going to win this thing.
Sure.
We'll threaten that possibility because we know people will love that. But then you're gone, and that's how it ultimately felt.
But the big wigs at WWE generally decide with like big signings like that, because this isn't the first. They've done it a few times. Right. They decide they're going to get a push, and then they assess after a certain period of time. Like look at Ronda Rousey. She got signed and then debuted, I want to say, at a Royal Rumble. I want to say that's when she did. And then they pushed her for like a full year. And the audience was like, no, we don't like her. And so she left. But then guess what? She came back and WWE was like, yep, we're pushing you again. Right. So I feel like what's really happening here is that Logan Paul is going to get a solid push. He's just he's making us believe he deserves it as a wrestler. And I think he did that, honestly.
Well, he that's the thing is he didn't go up and half-ass it.
No, he was great. He did well.
He clearly gives a shit.
It's a good use of what he is, despite the fact that I don't know that he deserves the career that he has for his personal conduct. But
that's where I'm at too.
Yeah,
I would argue like, if he becomes a wrestler, I'm like, I don't know if that's better or worse than what he currently is. You know what I mean?
He's currently a boxer and apparently pretty good at it, I think.
Yeah, I guess like someone like that, and again, it's like I'm just not going to really support a guy like that, but it's not up to me. But it's like, okay, how do you want that guy to exist in the world? It's like what I really don't want is him making videos like on YouTube that like teenagers watch. Like at least like if he's a sports guy, it's like
it takes him out of the YouTube conversation. Is
exactly.
Is that your idea?
And
that's funny.
And it also means he doesn't open his mouth as much, and he's not making videos where he's exploiting suicide.
In theory,
yeah.
In theory,
He can still buy and abandon all the pets he wants, I guess. But that's every rich person. Yeah. Like again, he's a shitty guy, and it's like a shitty guy like that. It's just like at least put him in a if he's gonna be fucking famous. Like, I don't seem to have a choice in the matter, right?
Yeah.
If he's going to be, at least put him somewhere where I don't have to fucking hear him.
Well, so Dave, then you might be delighted to recall that there was a rumor very recently that WWE was going to get sold to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And I would like nothing more than for Logan Paul to have to live by the Saudi standards where he's not allowed to do any of that shit.
I'm sure that's not how that'll go, though.
I'm sure it's not.
Just,
right, I'm sure it's not.
They'll just buy it. And then
let them do what they want.
Yeah,
they do. They, as far as I understand it, and I've never watched one of the Saudi pay-per-views, but as far as I understand it, they do write the stories to cater to the audience there. And it's
I don't
not
doubt
great.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's like they changed Marvel movies in other countries. I always kind of imagined that was the case. You know, where you have like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it's in every country. You know, like where it's a franchise.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I can say, so I think we've talked about the clear winners. Can I say there was one depressing phenomenon that really happened in the Men's Royal Rumble, and that is I remembered how WWE has never gotten over the Matrix. Never gotten over it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that.
They keep bringing out B-side characters that belong in the Matrix real world, right? Like Karrion Kross and like
every single one. Well, I want to talk about that more in the next section too.
Okay, great.
Or the next fight, because like, are we like how fucking hard is it to look like the Undertaker? How fucking hard is it to at least even look like Mankind? Well, no, that I would argue they're not.
They're not doing it enough.
What's bothering me.
I gotcha.
Is like they do these intros where it's like it literally for one guy the color went away and it was like, what did you stole our color?
Yeah.
Was this the fucking Giver?
Dave literally said, "Give us our color back, assholes," as he was watching it.
Well, because it's not worth it. Because these fuckers, they'll be like church bell sounds,
right,
and like crows,
right.
and then like lightning, and they'll show like blood. And then
Right.
some guy comes out who just looks like a bartender. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
He looks like
just some guy.
He looks like a tattoo parlor trainee. Yeah. Exactly. They don't look
give me
tough.
that intro if you don't come out looking like the fucking devil.
Right.
And the Undertaker did that, you know?
Yeah, they look more hipster than they do evil. It's a very dated way of looking evil now.
It really is.
And again, it dates back to like that era, like the fucking weird nylon and like the strange zippers and shit. It's just very like, it's like I get it. Like that was a cool look, and it was the last time that we had a look in a movie that we'd never seen before, I guess.
Yeah. And what I learned from this Gunther, obviously, is that you can look boring and bring it.
Yeah.
Even though Gunther didn't actually bring it, he just became a meme. He became a meme up there for me. But like, but what I still remains a problem is like, so it's either fucking black underwear or maybe a little bit of color, or you're like you just kind of look like you work at Hot Topic, and it's just like, can they fucking just try to have some outfits?
Damian Priest and Karrion Kross to me felt like the way I felt after Superman died in the comics, and they just brought back 4 weird Supermen.
Exactly.
That's what this is. They got rid of the Undertaker, and now they just have 4 off-brand Undertakers running around.
And they're clearly like, it feels like they're like, listen, one of you prove yourself, and then we'll give you a good costume.
Right.
For now, just bring what you got at home. Just bring what you got at home.
One of you get buried alive and prove you should resurrect from the dead, and we'll let you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is. Can I do a quick shout out to Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman has lost so much weight that he's no longer really a big guy.
He didn't look like a guy you'd call Strowman.
Right.
Or Braun.
So
he didn't look like a Braun.
You and Abe got fucking goo goo gaga over Omos, I believe his name is OMOS, the Andre the Giant type dude that came out.
Who's the one who looked like he'd change your tire? Was that Otis?
That's too broad. I'm sorry. You're going to need to narrow that down, Dave.
Okay.
Way too
broad. Guy, maybe it is let me look him up.
I think it's Omos is like the 7-foot tall guy. The 7'5" guy who was giant. You know what I mean? It was like, how are you going to deal with that guy?
Oh, this guy, I loved him.
Yeah, he was great.
fun.
Yeah, he was great. And then they brought out Braun Strowman, who was supposed to be like the equal opposite, who ends up eliminating him. And I'm like, you know what, man? Braun Strowman's gotten so cut and fit now, he doesn't feel like a big guy anymore.
Right.
You know, he just feels like a slightly bigger fit wrestler.
Yes.
And it was
weird.
weird.
He didn't. It was weird because he comes out and he's supposed to be the guy to take him on, and I was like, yeah, he looks like a guy, you know.
I mean, I like Braun Strowman. I think he's a good wrestler, but I think it's weird to see him have none of the bulk he used to have. And good for him. I'm sure it's health.
Yeah, maybe it's for his health. I don't know.
And that's great if that is. If it's not, there's a part of me that's like, well, you know, I wouldn't. You might have lost something that made you stand out a bit more. I don't know. So, other side note before you jump in here, Dave. There was a thrilling moment, a deeply thrilling moment, when I realized Braun Strowman and Ricochet are in a tag team together.
Yes,
like
they
it was
have
like,
matching
oh
beards.
my god,
Were they the ones with matching
yes,
beards?
Yes, and it was like that's so fucking precious. Like I like love the idea so much.
Wait, he was like the little dog, following around the big dog,
And
he's like, "Hey, boss, I dress like you. I wear a beard now."
So thrilled by it. I was like, that is a great idea. I love it so much. Wow, what a great decision. Fun to not know about it until the Royal Rumble. I was very excited.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Otis, by the way, is the change your tire guy. He's the one who looks like a Tolkien-esque dwarf. He came out. And he's like, yeah, and they're like, "That's." I was just like, "Oh, that's a man right there."
That was the guy. We were all like, "He's pretty big." We were just a little bit worried about it. Yeah. He. We were talking about the earthquake when he came out because he was one of those type guys.
Right.
You know, just like really bulky.
He's a type. He's a guy who would be named Otis.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
perfectly
he is.
named. He is an incredible athlete. Like he is very strong and very mobile for his size. It's like really impressive, I would say.
Yeah, he was running around.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, I can move on, Dave, to the other matches.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel.
I don't know. I feel good. So my first pitch is.
Oh, great! Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's not my favorite.
Does
the
it?
Penis is a guy. He's very skinny. Never speaks. Gray sweatshirt and gray sweatpants. Never wrestles because nobody is willing to wrestle him.
So, but he calls himself the Penis. Is he supposed to be a penis?
No, he's just called the Penis. Like kind of like a sickly pale gentleman, you know. Again, gray sweatshirt, gray pants,
and he's
maybe
just
a little
like
stained.
Unbearably awkward. Is that his deal?
Doesn't talk.
He's like a stinky John Arbuckle type.
And everybody's just kind of like, I don't want to deal with the Penis. That's it.
So the penis is actually a way of him like coating himself in stink. Like that's what it is, right?
It could be that. He's just no one wants to hang out with him. He's not. But we're not into him.
He's kind
but
of
he
like,
doesn't go away.
He's kind of like Jerry and Rick and Morty. Like that's the kind of character he is.
I could see that. Yeah. I was thinking more. He's like a little wiry. Like his eyes are a little out there. Like I don't know how he's fitting Royal Rumble.
Out there?
Yeah, I feel like the way they do it with Royal Rumble is like they chase him with a broom away.
If he kept
again, no one wants to wrestle him, so like everything would come to a halt.
I get the feeling like you don't want this to go full bits, but I really think if he's going to be the Penis, he's got to do things like dive like head first at people and stuff, right? Like he's got to do some things.
If he ever wrestled, I don't think he ever wrestles.
So how do you propose he's in the show then?
They always line him up like it's fucking Roman Reigns versus the Penis,
and then he
goes on stage. No, they go on there and Roman Reigns is just like he like whispers something. And then they're like, okay, I guess we're not doing this.
And everybody's like, what's up with the Penis?
And then they just move on.
So your idea is a regular, unexplained disappointment for wrestling fans. That's your first pitch.
Yeah, people always know, like, okay, they probably have a backup.
You could have picked any of your ideas to pitch first, but this one felt like the warm-up bit.
Okay, you want me to give you another one?
I mean, yeah, because that's awful. I don't know what to tell you.
This is a better, more realized one. This is a women's wrestler.
Great.
Mrs. Soup. She spits soup at you.
Okay.
She spits it right at you.
Do we see her ingest the soup? Do we see that?
Well, she has, around her waist, she has bags of soup. And I think what would happen... Yeah, and what would happen is like, you know, like if the other wrestler is distracted, she takes one of the bags and like waves it and sucks some of it up in her mouth. And then goes and spits it. Or she like throws the bags of soup sometimes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes she gets the audience to yell soup, soup, soup.
She come down with
I think-
like glittery ladle and stuff. Is like she go all the way in on this.
I think she'd reach under the wrestling ring and get a ladle.
So
and
the
it would
ladle
be
is
like,
involved. Yeah,
It's like the folding chair,
Yeah.
where she takes out the ladle
Is-
and hits you with it. She pours her soup on you once she's knocked you out.
Is her outfit like a loving mother? Is that the deal? Like what's like does that like as a character aside from using soup and spitting it at people, like what's the outfit and persona of that?
That is such a good question.
Thank you.
And I didn't even think about it.
Oh, good.
To
Yeah,
be
yeah.
honest, to
So
me, any outfit is okay.
Most of these are, what if somebody used this thing, the word penis, or what if somebody used soup? These are your ideas. Okay.
Listen, the rest of mine are just names. So, do you want to hear the names?
Not yet, man. I want you to save it because I'm sure they're all going to be precious. All right, let me.
There's only 3.
Can I fix
didn't
your
do
idea?
That much work.
Can I fix your idea a little bit, Dave? So
All right.
if she's constantly like, if she's like a deranged mother, and she's constantly like forcing soup down people's gullets and stuff, and like she's like Mankind, where she like chokes you out with her like with her
she
soup
could
stuff.
try to make you eat the soup.
Yeah, right. That would be like a deranged mother is an interesting character. I could go
Yeah,
for that.
I could see Mrs. Soup.
Yeah,
the
Mrs.
deranged
Soup.
mothers.
Mrs. Soup,
Yeah.
the deranged mother. That's a character I can get on board with.
There was another one we pitched while we were talking, but I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like it came up already, which is a wrestler who just doesn't want to wrestle and is really
Right.
good at it.
Right.
Like
Right,
the
right, right.
reluctant wrestler who every time they're introduced, they're clearly shoved from off stage and they like reluctantly go on stage. And then every time they're just like really good at it, but they don't enjoy wrestling. They're just good at it.
Like, so
I don't mind that.
they joylessly like, and they keep trying to be known for a different thing, but they end up having to wrestle.
Yeah, they keep
That's funny.
like plugging their podcast
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
take the mic away and like they
They
don't,
come out
or
with their
they're just, like,
poems. Yeah.
applying for jobs and they're just
Right.
like really good at fucking wrestling.
Right. One week they try their hand at ring announcer and they're awful at it, but so they have
Yeah.
to wrestle instead.
And his name should
Yeah.
be Tim Thunder. And he'll be like, "That's my legal name. I didn't even like it. I didn't make it for fucking wrestling. I'm Timothy Thunder."
So his character is that he's fated to wrestle. He's like the Oedipus of wrestling. He
Yeah,
must wrestle.
exactly.
That's funny. I dig that. I dig that
I like
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Mountain Dew presents the worst
Yeah.
wrestling match of the night.
Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. I don't know who LA Knight is, but he sounds like a sports team, frankly.
LA Knight was like a disposable first level dungeon character from Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Like that is all he was.
Yeah, this is Mountain Dew presents. We gave you enough money to make a whole wrestling match for us, but not that. This is what it felt like. They invented a new type of wrestling that I would argue didn't look very good. I think this looked like shit.
I'm guessing that it didn't look great. I'm guessing that it was impossible to follow for the live audience. Like
Yes.
they probably had no idea what was going on at all.
Yeah, there's a reason you light the ring. I'll just say
right?
that.
It isn't like the first idea we had. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
What if you can't see wrestling?
Right.
And
What
so
if
you
you
can't see
didn't
their
see it?
faces. All you can see is the reflective shit on them. And so it looks like just a laser tag match.
right.
It looks like a fight at a laser tag. And so like it's Mountain Dew presents Pitch Black match. Pitch Black is the name of the Mountain Dew. And so it lasted like
it is.
15 fucking yes.
I didn't
That's
know
why
that.
I'm it's so
I
they're
hate
like
that even worse now. Okay.
yeah, and so it was like, let's make up a thing for this. So clearly Mountain Dew gave them us enough money that they sat around and said, okay, we'll give you 15 minutes because the fight doesn't last more than fucking 15 minutes.
It barely was that. It was also really short.
Yeah.
It was dumb. It was
It
really
really
dumb.
felt like they were forced into it and they're like, okay, let's just do the bare minimum. Because it felt like the bare minimum.
One particularly offensive beat that they included in this, melange of yawn is they decided that underneath the wrestling announce table was just a lot of confetti, neon confetti, and it wasn't.
What are they doing?
It was like, why is that there? Other than it's right for this, like. Why
Right,
would it be
because-
there story-wise? Why?
Right, it's like you could at least try. Like everybody expects someone to get thrown into the announcer table, but the point is to pretend like you aren't expecting it. You know what I mean?
Come on.
It's like when you play hide and seek with a kid and they find you and you go, "Oh, you found me!" Like you don't go, "Yeah, you fuck face. I knew you were gonna find me." Like you don't like. So like it's like the fact that the announcing table was filled with confetti was like, well, then you're giving away the game. And I know everybody knows the game, but you can at least fucking try not to.
But now you're not even trying to pretend that this is a match anymore.
It felt
like now
scripted.
it's a dumb stunt. Yeah,
It felt scripted within the canon, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
It felt like in the world of wrestling, this was still scripted.
Let me tell you-
to the point where he fucking later the guy dives on him and pyrotechnics go off, and I was like, well, that's weird that they had pyrotechnics.
Well,
ready
I mean,
to go
by the
for
way,
this unexpected thing that was supposed to happen.
he fucking missed by a mile too. It was like a really bad elbow
Yeah.
drop. He really missed. You know what? It occurred to me like about an hour later, the perfect opponent for Bray Wyatt would have been Goldust in this matchup. Do you know who Goldust is?
I hope he's a
Fucking
man
Google him.
who
Google
blows
him.
get dust.
Yeah, that's one thing he does. Google him right now, Dave. Just leave this in. Google Goldust wrestler. Goldust wrestler. Go look it up. You're gonna get thrilled right now. You're about to get fucking thrilled. That's the slowest.
2 words. His name is Dustin Rhodes in
That's
real
right.
life.
That's correct. He's I think he's
Oh
brothers.
yeah, this man is perfect for a blacklight match.
Imagine they had him in neon paint, right?
Yep.
And so he shows up and he's doing.
and you see the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
You see the whole person.
and it's like
Yeah.
just which of these two guys is going to be weirder at each other? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
the
It's gonna be
part that
great.
like really fucking the thing that like really felt flaccid to me
Yeah.
is Bray Wyatt. This guy's supposed to be spooky,
yeah.
and he again same problem as before. He's supposed to be like this, has this like Texas Chainsaw Massacre family that's
Yeah.
like hypnotizing people. Then make him look like fucking Leatherface because he just looks like a tattoo artist. That's it. That's all he looks like.
I think
and when he got on
you're-
stage,
I think
they
you're a
did this-
little reductive about Bray Wyatt. I think Bray
Yeah,
Wyatt
he's
has
still
a
not-
gimmick, and he's doing pretty well with it. I think
he's too clean. Like if it's like I'm a hillbilly horror Rob Zombie family, he's got to be like missing teeth or like he's just got.
he's not grungy looking enough for you.
He just looks like some guy. Yeah, he still just looks like some guy. And when they put him on stage and he's wearing this like spider web white makeup, the thing that really like just grinded my gears at him
Yeah, you're
is
really
that when
worked
they
up about
showed
it.
him from the back and they didn't put makeup on the back of him.
Yep,
It was just in the
normal
front.
skin. Yeah.
It was like a child's Halloween outfit, and it was like what bare minimum fucking effort.
It really falls apart from here.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It was like the one cool beat of the match was seeing his neon makeup.
It was cool, and then
It
I
was
saw
fine.
it from the side, and I was like, wait,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
only painted the front.
they put some weird bronze shit on his teeth, and yeah, I think Bray Wyatt, they've done a pretty good job of giving him some updated horror tropes.
Sure.
And I understand this match was not a good selling point to you for that, but in
Yeah,
general,
maybe there's a better version of this.
well, I'm reading a lot of complaints that apparently Bray Wyatt's story isn't working, and it's like, well, welcome to WWE. They don't know what to do with him. But I still believe in my gut that this guy and this gimmick are a good idea, and they just haven't figured out the best use of him yet.
Yeah.
Like there's been times he's worn a fucked up looking mask, Dave. Called
That would
the
be
Fiend.
good.
Look it up, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. Check out the fucking mask he was wearing. Google that shit.
Bray
Yeah, he's like gold dust good.
Wyatt, the
The Fiend. The Fiend. Then look up Wrestler the
oh
Penis.
yeah, he's like the Slipknot. He's a
Yeah.
Slipknot.
Yeah, and that's not bad, right? Like that's a pretty
Yeah,
good
that's
bit.
better than fucking what we're getting
Right.
from this.
That was a thing
It
they
just-
did.
Yeah, I don't blame him because I think this match was just phoned in. It
Yeah.
really feels like they were like, listen, guys, Mountain Dew paid us a lot of money. Can somebody do this? And they were like, yeah, we'll do it. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like a really half-ass match where they're like, let's just take the money and run.
I'm really a little stressed out about the endless march toward advertisement that sporting events are becoming, including this. Like I think this match violates the sense of story that WWE is asking us to believe.
Really? Because I just
Yeah,
assumed
I do.
WWE did this all the time since the 80s.
I've never
Has
seen
Pizza Hut never done a wrestling match where they
Never
hurl
seen it.
pizzas at each other?
No, never seen it.
Because they should.
Maybe Sure, that's the one idea I like you've given so far, Dave. But
Yeah.
I would say
It's like hot pizza, like they burn.
right. Yeah,
burns.
it's literally dangerous. Yeah, I assume that.
Yeah.
No, but the point is that I think it's these sponsored matches violate some sense of the reality of the world in the same way that like you watch a football game now, a thing that Dave was forced to do with Abe and I.
It was terrible.
Yeah, you really like he sighed like a child for a good 10 minutes. So like a thing they do now is like, so they have all the commercial breaks, right? And then there'll just be a down moment that they can't take a commercial break. So they'll just shrink the game and give you another commeral. Like they're just like sneaking in free commercials.
That's the thing is,
It's
I
like,
think
come on, man.
You notice it more because you watch the sports. Since I don't watch the sports, I don't see a pattern. So like to me, this like Mountain Dew presents, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like this is like wrestling to me. I was just like, yeah, cram that money in where you can, and like I would get more upset if I saw it during like a football game.
It's
for
just,
sure.
It's very
And
frustrating.
so I can see this being part of a pattern that bothers you. It just doesn't bother me because I don't see the pattern yet.
I understand. I think it's really frustrating to look and know that like there will never be less advertisements now than there are until there's like a literal societal collapse. That's the only way that's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be Futurama where they start putting ads in dreams.
And it's like, man, that sucks. Like it's really asking a lot out of us now.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, which is that we used to have very clear boundaries for ads, and because of the way the internet works, those boundaries are gone. So they're now like, where can we cram ads?
Right. How much can the audience take? And the answer is more every year.
Yeah, and I would argue there are certain things, and it sounds like an old guy to say this, in the entertainment industry, where my feeling really is like, we should probably go backwards a little bit. Like I like just because we can doesn't mean we should for some things, because it's ultimately making like I miss banner ads, and ad blockers were the reason we don't get those.
Oh boy.
And you look, and it's like, man, banner ads, we had it easy. Like now they're like, oh, you don't like our banner ads? Okay, we're gonna cram the screen with ads.
I actually might even argue ad blockers themselves shouldn't exist.
That's what I'm saying is, well, no, because the reason ad blocker exists is because the ad companies went a little too far. It's always back and forth, right? It's this thing where like movies like Blockbuster pushed people around so much, and then so like we started pirating, and then the answer to that was like streaming. But then it like slowly degrades it. And so it's like this arms race where you can't quite figure out who started it. And like in some ways, it's like kind of a natural progression maybe, but it's clearly things are blowing up.
But we're just they're throwing nukes at each other's times now all the time. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the worst.
And then it's like, honestly, I just want to live in a world where artists can get paid. Like, because if they can't, then we don't get anything.
Well, I mean, I also wouldn't even be opposed to making those commercials. I'm just saying that it really does start to feel exploitative when the sanctity of the quote-unquote kayfabe world that wrestling is creating is violated by Mountain Dew's pitch.
Right, it's like saying that shit for the Applebee's commercial in between wrestling. Right. That's acceptable. Right. And they did that. This was Applebee's presented this thing, and it's like, that's fine. You're a little fucking logo in the corner. That's fine. But like, for example, what's coming up is a woman came on stage in a Street Fighter outfit to promote Street Fighter. Yeah. And it was like, oh, that feels weird, right?
Yeah.
It feels less, this is the thing, is like, it's starting to feel more like them, like, we're characters, the bit. We're going to dress this one up as fucking Street Fighter.
There's a shrug. There's a little bit of a shrug about, that's the problem I have with it, is that it violates the belief in the world that wrestling has always maintained.
Right.
It's like, no, don't do that.
Reason, I'm not terribly against it, only when it's done right, because I would believe in the wrestling world that they might do a sponsored match. As long as that sponsored match, you have something that is like quote unquote real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like,
yeah, I agree.
Like if he had like been waterboarding the guy with Mountain Dew, it's like, all right, like that.
That would have solved all my problems with the entire pay-per-view.
Exactly.
If he'd been if they'd just been do-boarding each other.
Do-boarding, that's what it's called.
Perfect pay-per-view. Do-boarding.
Do you want to move on though?
Yeah, I do. I think we could even literally skip the next match,
So
right?
this is such a bummer.
It's
because
just,
I
you
think
cared about
we
it.
could have. The thing is, we could have skipped the match before the last one, but we had to note how fucking pathetic it was.
Yeah.
And I just want to note this next match isn't pathetic. It
was boring, though.
It was boring as shit. This was Bianca Belair,
I like both
versus
wrestlers.
Alexa Bliss. Yeah, they're both fucking terrific. I was
Yeah.
happy to see them. And like not much happened. She did the thing where she got hypnotized at the end.
Whatever that means. Sure.
Yeah, whatever that means. But I don't even remember who fucking won.
Belair won. It seems pretty clear that Bianca Belair is going to wrestle Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, which is a cool match. I like that match.
Yeah, this felt like a filler. Which this was like my big takeaway from this one, which is like I still generally like the women's wrestling more, but they kind of like the next thing. The Royal Rumble was terrific, and we can get into that now.
I'm about ready to.
But generally speaking, like I would say the men's and women's were about even with Royal Rumble. The only exception is that the final match, which was a men's match, was really good.
I'm going to contend that the women's Royal Rumble was not as good as the men's until the end, which was very good.
That's true. Until like the last 20 minutes or so, I'd say.
Yeah, but it was worse in almost every way until then. There were only 2 or 3 memorable things that happened for the first hour and a half in it.
Right.
Or whatever it was, hour of it.
The winner is Rhea Ripley, who
and she is great. I
was going to say she's kind of both the winner and the unofficial winner.
Yeah,
she was the
agreed.
Gunther. She came on. She did. In the sense that she was there the entire match. She's number 1 in the order. She came out and she was fucking awesome.
She set a record, Dave. She set a record. Did you know that?
No.
She was. By the way, so did Gunther. They were both the longest anyone's ever lasted in Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fun, right?
Yeah, but the difference is Gunther didn't win, whereas Rhea Ripley did win. So I'm glad they did it for one of the two.
Yeah, yeah. Rhea Ripley is a star,
and she won in a really cool way.
She's clearly a star. I'm all in on her. I think she's worth cheering for or booing or whatever they want us to feel. She's really good. I'm in. I like her.
Yep.
Now I do want to level my critique at this match writ large, if you're okay with it. I think in contrast to years past and in contrast to our opinion about the men in years past, I think the women got really indistinguishable for the most part in this particular Royal Rumble. Not entirely indistinguishable, obviously, but there were, 10, 15 entrants that had the same color palette. Yeah, it was a set of names. It's who are any of these people?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel bad that it's sort of I feel like I started this by making the comparison to begin with, because it's
right.
They both have equal right to be there.
Of course.
But since the last time we talked about it, I feel like I made a note to say the women's is so much more entertaining. It definitely feels like they heard me, and the men stepped up their game. And then it just so happened that the women's wrestling this time around
wasn't quite as good. Yeah,
it wasn't quite as good. So
right.
the men stood out this time. Yeah, there's still obviously people fucking
the idea
Azuka
that WWE,
is her name?
The idea that WWE listened to your podcast and said we better make Dave happy is completely insane. Dave,
you never know. You don't know what Vince is listening to.
Maybe he's we got to get on the penis right now. We got to get on the penis.
Oh, if they come out with the penis, I would be so happy. That's free. That's free.
You're gonna give them the penis for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that is your motto, isn't it?
The thing is, her name is Asuka, right?
Asuka?
Oh, Asuka?
Yeah. That's how they pronounce it, apparently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
she's
just
great.
Reading through the names.
Yeah, she's great.
I was just gonna say, she to me embodied wrestling more than anybody else.
Correct.
Because she was the only fucking person to come on stage with her face painted and act like a beautiful maniac. I still say the women in this stood out more as wrestling bits. It's just that the overall show wasn't as good.
They weren't as distinguishable, though.
My favorite people of the night was a lot of them were still the women. When they came, like obviously fucking
Nikki Cross, who's Dave's favorite wrestler
Nikki
ever.
Cross.
Yeah.
She brought it. She came on like
She
a
is
fucking
really
rabid
good.
pit bull.
Yeah,
and
she's
started
really good.
beating people up, and I loved it.
So let me say a word about Asuka real quick. So Asuka was apparently returning from a very long period of inaction. So that
Wow.
was that's cool. Also, her face paint apparently is like a reference to a character she did before she was Asuka outside of the WWE. So
that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, those were cool things. So the wrestler that came right after her, Piper Niven, who I kept saying like I really like her. She also was returning from injury, and she used to go by Dewdrop, and they apparently are getting rid of that character and just letting the wrestler under her own name.
No shit.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So like,
Piper Niven.
Yeah, Piper Niven.
She fucking
Yeah.
ruled.
She was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying is like, sorry, I'm looking up what because I
they are.
remember
Right.
faces more than names.
Right.
She brought it. Like she was great, and I do remember the name Dewdrop now that you mention it.
Yeah, there were 4 or 5 people who really stood out here, and I'll list the ones I thought stood out, and you tell me if you agree. So obviously Rhea Ripley stood out. I thought she was great. I thought Liv Morgan, who was there at the very end, she was quite good, and she was also there right with Rhea Ripley from the very beginning, which was really neat.
Yeah,
I thought. See, none of the rest of them really stood out to me. Like they were kind of all bland until we got to
what's her name, Zia.
Zia, I think Zia was the one that was really tiny but acrobatic.
Yeah, I liked her because she felt
was
like she
great.
could fucking kill you.
Yeah, she was
like,
great.
I got like I was just like that's
Or
one of those
maybe-
people where I don't want to piss off.
We might
vibes.
be thinking of Io Sky. I'm trying to figure out which person that is. I'm gonna look it
Well,
up.
one of them did the Street Fighter stuff, and I forget who did that. But I also actually liked her too, and it's partially is because the Street Fighter look was kind of cool.
The Street
Becky
Fighter,
Lynch, of course, was there, but
Yeah,
that
she
felt
was-
like a cameo. where
she
was
didn't
in
do
and
much.
out. Yeah,
I think Io Sky is the one we were excited about. I can't tell. Forgive me. I know that sounds.
I mean,
dismissive.
I remember that name too popping out. I remember Zia because I mentally wrote it down where I was like,
Okay,
oh,
all
that's
right.
that's someone. Who's fucking Tank Girl?
You loved Shotzi. Shotzi.
Shotzi.
You fucking
Shotzi?
you loved Shotzi. No, it's Shotzi. You loved her.
Shotzi.
Dave and Abe fucking flipped out over Shotzi.
Well,
She's
if you
coming out
come
in a tank.
fucking tank, then yeah, of course.
This is the thing. So you're the reason why shit like the gobbledygooker happens in wrestling. Let me update you on what the gobbledygooker
You mean I'm a
is.
hero?
Yeah,
I'm a hero.
That's exactly what I'm saying, but I want you to understand the full compliment, Dave. So in wrestling years past, they used to just bring out a man in a chicken outfit called the gobbledygooker because it was funny. They just bring him out once in a while.
That's
on
comedy.
pay-per-view.
That's comedy.
That's kind of, to me, that's the kind of deal that Shotzi is. Shotzi is basically gobbledygooker level character to me.
It was fucking I love that shit.
Okay.
I eat that shit up.
Yeah, you do.
It
I
reminded
agree.
me of I went to like a festival that Guar headlined, and the entire day before they it was I've seen Guar like 6 times, Adam.
Of course you have.
Yeah, and I love them. They're so fucking good, and I recommend.
You were trying to talk me into it, weren't you?
I was about to say
Yeah.
anybody who likes performance art, go see Guar.
Right.
Go see Guar.
Right.
If you don't want blood on you, probably get a balcony seat. But go
Right.
see Guar, because they are in act. Even now that Dave Brocky is passed, there's still a fucking experience.
Sure.
So go see Guar.
Sure.
And when I saw them this particular time, it was at a festival outdoor, and for the whole day, because you'd think if you're Guar, right, you're gonna put
Sure.
on that shit when it's time to, right?
Oh, yeah, it's gotta be melting
No fucking
hot.
earlier.
Yeah.
Guar had a fucking golf cart that was Guar themed. And was all day, you just see them zipping by, just harassing people, like just through the crowds and shit. And you just be walking, and Guar would like almost hit you on a golf cart, and you're like, it's Guar. It was fucking terrific.
That
so like
seems great, honestly. That sounds
and
really
it was
great.
kind of like armored up, and it just
Yeah.
this reminded me of that
Yeah.
a little.
It probably
of like
ate
this
you somehow.
dumb little tank.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It does feel Guarish. I
Guar
think,
did wrestling too, so yeah.
yeah. If they feel like they're kindred spirits. Just to be clear, so that people don't think I'm a dick, it is Xia Li. That is the wrestler we were talking about. You were right about that, Dave. I looked her up. That's the one that was really exciting.
She was fucking vicious.
Yeah, she was great. Yes, she was really good.
She
I
just
totally
seemed
agree.
talented as shit. Yeah,
Correct. That is the one we were talking about. So, okay, a couple others that stood out in my mind. So, the funniest moment of the night, we all laughed at it, was Chelsea Green, because Chelsea Green came out, was like, kind of hyping herself, and then got eliminated immediately, and Dave was thrilled by that.
Well, I was a little used to it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I knew that was going to happen.
But you were excited about
it's
it.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm glad they do it. Every time.
That's a record for shortest period ever in a Royal Rumble. That was that. Yeah, so that's funny. Apparently, Chelsea Green is like legit. Apparently, that was a debut for her, and like everyone's mad that she got thrown over for a joke. So like it's become a controversy apparently.
Oh no!
Yeah, just letting you know. I personally am in love with Lacey Evans as a character. I just think she's amazing and funny.
Which one was Lacey Evans?
She was the bad guy who used to be the madam.
Oh yeah, I like her. Spunk.
She's fantastic. Yeah, she's fantastic. Sonya Deville stands out. I haven't watched enough for her to get her vibe, but I can tell that she's a pro. Like when you watch her, it's like she's a pro. She gets it. She's funny. She's like very expressive and fun. And of course, Nikki Cross, because she's out there with her what would you call maniac terrier energy? Like
yeah. I said truck stop fight energy that she has. Like she's never not fucking delighted by her when she shows
great.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like wears generally the same outfit every time, like different colors, but she's got like she sometimes just has jeans on. That's the other part is she just looks like a fucking like a soccer mom, or like a soccer mom hooligan. Like she'd get into a fight.
She looks like
soccer game.
She looks like she was at a bar when the Royal Rumble started, and they're like, "Hey, you got to be in it." And she's like, "Fuck."
That's why
Here we go.
I was saying to me, she's Lady Stone Cold, and I know there's two different careers there.
Right.
I'm just talking with vibes, where it's like she seems like she would be at the bar with Stone Cold, getting into fight.
Maybe
She's got that fucking mad dog energy, and I just how could I
You and I see Stone Cold very differently. I understand the comparison you're making. I don't totally disagree with it.
She feels like she'd chug a beer and throw it in the audience.
She feels
you know what she would be
manic
good at?
like that. Yes.
You know if she'd great? She'd be a great Mrs. Soup. A great Mrs. Soup, Adam.
Okay, I'm on board with that. I do like that. Just to be clear, the energy that Stone Cold brings, and I say this because it is different. Stone Cold brings in the oh shit, someone's going to get their ass kicked. That's not what Nikki Cross does.
She does the like someone's. It's all right. It's more like Edge. But I just think I just think they complement her and Stone Cold complement each other like a fine wine and cheese. She's got the eye gouging energy where it's like
maniac.
She might lose the fight,
unpredictable.
but she's gonna change your life.
Yeah, she's scrapping.
You might get her away from you, but you're never the same.
Well, she's going to change your life, Dave. If Dave was not in a relationship, Dave would be probably making inappropriate DMs as we speak to Nikki Cross.
I've never made an inappropriate DM.
Of course not. It's a bit. I know Dave is an upstanding citizen.
No, I'm saying I'd be more of like an in-person stalker if this is the scenario.
Yeah. You'd
and
show
then
up.
she'd kick my ass, I guess, in this fantasy.
And you'd like it. That's how
I'd
it would go.
I'd be like the guy trying to hand her flowers from the audience, like when she's running by,
and she'd rip your arm off.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "That was worth it."
Exactly.
And
One
also,
of them, who did the thing where she there was someone who tried to hand it an audience member something and then was like, fuck you. And
that was
threw it.
Lacey Evans.
That was great.
And I was like, dude, Lacey Evans, you continue to rule.
She was terrific.
She's so good. I don't know if she's had any pushes because I haven't watched wrestling in 5 years, but man, she seems great. And we would be remiss if we did not mention that Nia Jax returned. And Nia Jax, I guess at this point, is a bit of a legendary character in wrestling. It took 11 wrestlers to get rid of her, So that was fun, I guess.
Oh, Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not a big
her
Nia
too.
Jax fan.
Really? I
no,
liked her
don't
whenever
like her.
she wrestled. I just like it whenever there's someone who everybody has to team up and go, okay, we have to deal with this. Like, I love that. I love that dynamic in wrestling where, like, and they do it in the men's too, where it's just like someone who's just fucking big and they're just like, fuck, how do we deal with them?
Nia
And everybody
Jax-
just has to deal with it.
This is going to sound incredibly arrogant and hypocritical, and I understand it. It probably is. I just don't believe Nia Jax.
Really?
I just don't believe her. And this is my feeling, personal, so I just don't believe her. I know she's also dangerous. Like, people get hurt when they work with her. So there's that. And like, out of all the wrestlers to make this like unstoppable force in the women's division, I just think she's the least compelling of them as an actor, as a wrestler.
I was about to say, I kind of
Period.
get what you're saying, which is that she's not fierce enough. Like, I would actually believe that it would take 5 people to get Nikki Cross out. Like,
Well, yeah.
and because she's got the edge meth energy, where it's like a Wolverine, where it's like, yeah, she's not that big, but it's just like, she's a biter, Like,
So they like
she's like, she's just, I feel like her and Edge should team up and just be called Hepatitis or something like that.
that was
And they just be biters and like no one wants to deal with them.
You really want to make a trash yard wrestling promotion. Like, that's really
Yeah,
in
I
your
think
heart
that's
somewhere.
a great vibe.
Yeah, trash yard brought to you by Dave.
But I just think like for the I know what you're saying, which is like there has to be a level of like they're kind of mean, like fucking Brock Lesnar, where it's like it felt like it was a bear that got loose.
It's-
where everybody's like, whoa there, because he's selling it, because he's got like this face and he's just like,
it's
and you're like,
completely thrilling me that you keep calling him Lester. It's Lesnar.
What's his fucking
Lesnar?
whatever.
And it's
fucking
really thrilling me.
names.
Also, Brock Lesnar had the funniest expression of the night. Like, when he got thrown
Yeah.
out, they zoomed in on his face, as they always do, and he gave us a real fucking treat. You know what I mean? Like, he was just unhinged, coked out mania. It was very good. Let me just finish my bit on Nia Jax here. So, like, Nia Jax, they have at times floated her as being equivalent to a male wrestler. Like, they even put her in the Royal Rumble. And it's not that idea bothers me. It's that I just don't think she's the one that I would believe could like take out a bunch of male wrestlers. I do think Rhea Ripley could. Or Charlotte, or somebody.
I think Rhea Ripley could.
Yeah.
I think in their mind it's about size.
But she's not that big.
That I was about to say, but it's also I don't think it actually comes down to that.
Right.
I think that's why I'm like saying like, oh, Nikki Cross is the person that should take 5 people. It's more of just like, and this applies to the men's wrestling too, is like its attitude. And it's like the fierceness of it.
And capability.
Yeah,
And for
like
me, I just don't see it with Nia Jax.
athletic, like flying around and shit. Like, I think a lot of these women, honestly, I can see them fighting men and winning.
Sure.
Like,
Of
and I
course.
could see them like merging a lot of this if they wanted to in the future. Because it's not that there's never a point where I'm like, I don't believe that. Because they're both fucking. When they're good, they're both throwing their fucking bodies around and doing different things and showing different skills. And so I don't know. Why not?
I have absolutely no problem with that. I just think that, like, one of the great historical figures in wrestling was Chyna. And one of the reasons why Chyna was so significant is that she was probably the first female wrestler they had that when she wrestled men, you were like, yep. Like it was a real boundary crosser for a different time where men did not believe that was possible, and Chyna was really a boundary breaker for that. And now, that's not such a problem for us culturally, but I still just want a matchup that feels competitive on an athletic level.
Right.
Anyway, I've said it.
I don't know. I think you're right about Rhea Ripley. I would love to see that.
She's so good.
She was so fucking good in this one. She was sticking her face in the camera. At one point, she had blood on her face.
Yeah, she was rad. Yeah.
Yeah, she understood the assignment through and
100%. 100%.
And she won. That was great.
Lacey Evans is another one. Clearly, I'm a stan. Clearly, I like Lacey Evans. Clearly, she's my Nikki Cross.
I stand a lot of these. Rhea Ripley, now that the more I think about it, because the other thing about her is she gives me the vibe of someone who's like, since she was a kid, was like, I'm going to be a fucking wrestler.
Yeah.
Like
this
that's
is her
what
dream. Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not like she was someone who's doing sports and then like moved over to this and is like, yeah, this is fine too. She like, it's like, it just feels like it's in her blood. and I love that. And so it's, that's
joy.
my favorite, obviously, are the people who are giving it them their all, you know?
The joy that she has in being her character is very apparent. It's like, it's so fun to consume. She's never won a title. It seems like it's time.
Yeah.
It's definitely time.
Yeah, this is
her moment that's coming, for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
It's great. I like, honestly, it makes me want to watch WrestleMania because I would like to see her win.
I want to watch WrestleMania. Not just
maybe
because
we'll
of
do
this,
that.
but because of the next fucking match.
Yeah.
I mean, can we talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, I think so.
This is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I didn't know anything that was happening
the bloodline
to the lead up to this. Yeah,
the bloodline. I didn't know any of the story either, but it's a really good story. Like, it was well done, and it's like, and just like summarizing it, which we'll do right now, you can tell if you've been a longtime wrestling fan, this is a good story. They're doing something cool with this. The story goes like this, just brief summary. So Roman Reigns has been on like a 2.5-year title run, which is just so deeply obnoxious. I can't even say anything about it. Just deeply obnoxious. Somewhere along the way, his Samoan connection to, I believe, his actual cousins, if I'm not mistaken, the Usos has become they become like a stable called the Bloodline, and in that stable is another wrestler whose name I forget. I don't remember him, and Sami Zayn. Now Sami Zayn is I don't know what his ethnic background is, but he's clearly not Samoan, and he's trying to belong to the Bloodline. And they keep putting him through a series of tests to prove, like, are you loyal enough? Are you loyal enough?
Right. I would argue if your group is called the Bloodline, and you're not related to them by blood,
what are you doing?
Probably just you don't need to be barking up that tree.
Yeah, it's too late for you already by definition.
And that's okay. You can deal with that fact. You can still be pals.
Yeah, you can still hang out, when they're not doing bloodline stuff, 100%. So the fun thing about this is Sami Zayn is a wrestler that has been around for like 8 years and just never had the push that got him to the title level. He's just never had that moment. He's a great wrestler. This storyline apparently was not supposed to be as successful as it's become, and is clearly setting up a match between him and Roman Reigns.
Yes.
And that's great because Sami Zayn has been waiting his turn, and it's really exciting to see that.
And Zany is he's friends with Kevin Owens.
So
right?
he and Kevin Owens came into WWE together.
Yeah.
They're like old friends from way back in the early days of their career. So like they set this dynamic up perfectly by having a match with Kevin Owens, who's a title contender perennially, with Roman Reigns, where in the aftermath, Roman Reigns is basically going to ask Sami Zayn to beat down his friend in this barbaric way. Yeah. And it's great. It's really good.
It is. It's wonderful because basically he's on the sidelines watching Roman Reigns beat up his old friend, and then he starts doing the stay down where he's like, please, just like we need to stop this. He's trying to get into Roman Reigns' little club, so he's trying to be close to him
to belong.
And then Roman Reigns essentially becomes the villain and brings it way too far, and then basically he wins against Owens, and then they just continue to beat him up. And it's a great classic where you're like, where are the refs? What's going on? This can't be allowed. How is this allowed?
Right, it really went on and on, too. It went on for like good 20 minutes.
Him, and it's like, well, this is just assault now. Someone arrest this man.
Yep. That's and it was one of the great wrestling moments in that when they do the bad guy heel stuff and they really lay it on. It really works because after a while you can't handle it anymore. You're just like, come on, man, enough. Let him go.
And that's the point. It works. The point.
It's so good.
And then he starts hitting him, and he puts the steel chair, and they start wailing on him. And then he basically goes to Sammy, and he's like, now you hit him. And it's like, this is like Shakespeare and shit.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Sammy is almost going to. And part of me, for the storytelling, wanted him to actually beat up Kevin Owens while
that would have been interesting. Yeah.
But he does the more expected thing, which is he hits Roman Reigns, who then beats the crap out of him.
And the Usos team up on him.
Yep. And then out of nowhere, one of the other guys is like, "You've changed, man," and like
One of
leaves.
the Usos. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
that
like,
was
what
a good
the
chant.
fuck?
That was a good twist.
It was hilarious because it was like, do we need this? There's already so much happening. Do we even need this? So now it feels like that guy might team up with someone. It's so
that.
much fucking drama. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just like Game of Thrones shit where they're
it really
throwing
was.
us where it's like, I didn't need this much writing and this much, and it's like bunch of muscle guys like crying and acting, and it's like, you gave me way more than I expected here. And like, are they the best actors? No, but they're doing their best. They're doing a great job, and it was just like, I don't know. I was very impressed by the amount of fucking betrayal and twists and turns and soap opera shit that just suddenly went on.
Like, so
in
this
those
is
like 10 minutes.
This is wrestling at its best, when it's telling a great story, and this is the best I've ever seen Roman Reigns. Like Roman Reigns,
he was great. He was such a prick.
Yeah. He has finally found the version of his character that fits who he is as a bad guy. I think there's a good guy Roman Reigns too that he's never found that's good. That people would like. I've never seen it, but I'm sure it exists. This version of him as a bad guy is like, yeah, man, you're really nailing it. It's really good. Kevin Owens is we all know that I love Kevin Owens. I'm a stand for Kevin Owens. Put on a pretty great match here. And like one of the things that he did that was so amazing was he kept taking shots to the steel staircase. And
he did.
It looked fucking dangerous. And I don't know how he did it. He's just a really good worker. Like he took a lot of punishment in a way that was upsetting, and it was like not the glory hog moment of the match, but he really supported it well.
That was who was during the ladies one. There was someone who kept getting picked up and thrown around too, who I remember was doing a great job.
Wasn't it Shia Lee? Isn't that why we were excited about her?
I think it was. Yeah. She kept doing like the kicking, like a child kicking in the air while they're carrying her around. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they can, Owens in this, like, he looked hurt.
Yeah.
I love it when they look hurt. They do such a good job. There's every now and then, like, when they throw someone into, like, the stands or something and they land it away where I'm like, oh, shit, are they actually okay? And then I realize, I'm watching, like, a show that's ran the other day, so it's fine.
Right. You would have heard about it if they weren't.
Yeah, I would have read about it.
Right. But like, yeah, I mean, when they get to the heights of their profession, they make you worried. Yeah. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns both are of that caliber now, so they can really put on some good matches. And despite all the hate that I've given Roman Reigns over the years, I have to say, like, he is a main event guy, and he does make a match feel like it has stakes.
Well, he's starting to. I always think about, again, going back, because I think the first time I saw Roman Reigns, it was another case of Gunther, where I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
he's just a guy in black underwear.
With a vest, with a bulletproof vest.
Right.
Wearing the
and here's
stupid
the
vest.
Thing.
Yeah.
You look at someone like The Rock, who also never had an outfit, right? Not really. I know he had things.
He had trunks.
And so I think what it is.
Trunks.
Yeah, but what it is with wrestling is like, if you're going to be just a little guy, like a little underwear guy, you have to have a personality that might as well be a costume, right?
That's true.
And that's what The Rock had.
Oh, 100%.
Is The Rock had such a fucking attitude that he was unforgettable. He wasn't boring. And Roman Reigns, I think, is getting into that.
He's found his version.
I'm remembering his fucking vibe, his attitude, where it's like he's just a guy with tattoos, but I'm actually like, now when I see him, it clicks who he is.
There was it's
very important.
There was about a year where WWE decided they were going to push Triple H from being a perennial Intercontinental guy to being the main bad guy of the show. Right. And wrestling fans, and I was one of them, was like, this fucking guy, we've had enough of him. And like, he was a weasel, and like they couldn't figure out his vibe. And then they finally kind of put it all together when they gave him the right music and the right look and the right entrance. And like he kind of put that full package together, and he got to the level that Triple H is now, which is like every time he shows up, it's like, oh, fuck, it's Triple H. I think Roman Reigns has gotten that now.
Yeah.
I think he's there now. I think the music change is good. I think the way he looks is good. I think they got it. It's like, yeah, man, you did it finally.
It took a while. It's really funny. It's like finding a character. That's what they're all doing.
Yeah, but they have to do it live.
It's like that's what's funny is it's like working with an actor and finding their character, but like you see all the first drafts. Like that's what it feels like. Where it's like they don't know. Where they keep bringing out people and they go, "This? Do you like this? No? Okay, give us 6 months." And they bring them out again. Like, do you like this? Does that work? And finally, when it clicks, it clicks.
Well, and also, like, wrestling is a little bit like a stock market in that, they have some investments that seem like they're going to do well and seem like they won't. And then once in a while, something like hits that's like, wow, we just didn't think of it. I think the New Day is one of those things. I mean, the New Day just hit. I think Stone Cold is.
Yeah, they came out running.
Yeah, like Stone Cold just hit. It was like, whoa, we hit.
Where they're
something.
like, this is my deal. And it's fucking great.
But then there's like these other people who didn't hit so much as they were carefully, relentlessly manufactured until finally they worked. And I think that's Roman Reigns. I think Triple H is one of those guys. Roman Reigns is one of those guys. Bret the Hitman
What do the
Hart.
H's stand for?
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Is that his real name?
No. It's a character.
Oh.
He used to be like this English aristocracy character, which is how he got that name.
That's very funny.
And then he just became Triple H.
I'm a little disappointed by that because like if I said call me Triple H, I'd want to have earned that with my name having my natural my actual name having 3 H's because you can't just make up a name with 3 H's and then go. That's why I'm Triple H. It's like, well, you did all that yourself, right?
Well, just bear in mind that the wrestlers don't always get to pick their characters and stuff,
right?
So it wasn't like he picked the name Hunter Hearst Helmsley and said, you know what, just call me Triple H. That's not really what happened. Like he started
with that.
Yeah, he tried to sell this English aristocracy character. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Correct. He was Dewdrop, and then he finally became Piper Niven.
Yeah.
I like Piper.
There were a couple where they just had. Wasn't there like Liv? It was like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like a wrestler coming out like named Steve, and it's just like, okay,
that's not enough.
Yeah. Can you try a little harder?
There was one named Emma. I couldn't tell you.
Emma. Yeah.
Couldn't tell you what her thing was. There's a few. Tamina is another one I couldn't picture.
Yeah, and it's just to give it. I don't know. Let's get a last name on there. Like. There's a last name slot on the sign-up sheet. One imagines.
Abe and Dave turned immediately on B-Fab. She was in the Women's Royal Rumble, and she was basically like an influencer character. And like Dave and Abe just turned on her immediately. They were not into B-Fab.
I don't actually remember B-Fab.
B-Fab was she like I want to say she had like a music intro, like meaning like she seemed like she was in the music biz or something. I'm trying to remember what it was that turned you off on her so bad. You were just not into her.
I don't remember disliking B-Fab. I'm looking at her right now.
You and Abe came at that gimmick so hard. You were not into it.
I remember her doing well. I remember the
she was
hair,
good.
And I remember there being a moment with B-Fab being like, "Oh, she's good," but I don't quite remember B-Fab.
I remember you and Abe were not into the gimmick, and I thought you would remember it enough to comment. So I apologize. That's going nowhere.
I think it's more of like this happens a lot, which is the influencer, which is like I get it, but it's sort of like when the movie Scream came out and everybody comes out in the fucking ghost face for Halloween, where it's like, okay, one person do it, and whoever does it do it really well, and everybody else think of your own thing.
Think of another thing. Yeah, think of a different thing than that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a couple of it makes me sads if you're ready for that part of the show. Okay. It makes me sad that Elias doesn't seem to be doing his gimmick anymore.
Yeah, I know that he just brought a guitar on stage.
I'm sure if I was watching that every week, I would be so sick of Elias. I get it. I will never be sick of Elias because I will never OD on him. I'll always watch the amount that I watch and love him. And I'm just sad he's not doing his bit anymore. I'm a little bit sad that Bobby Lashley. So Bobby Lashley, who goes by The Almighty, was the guy who came out and eliminated Brock Lesnar. And I know that some people try to get really hyped on that guy. He just doesn't connect for me. And I'm sad because I feel like I'm missing it. Like, I feel like maybe I'm just not, he just doesn't connect for me.
Oh, him.
Yeah, I want to care, and he doesn't. I just don't.
I feel like I saw him a few times now.
Yeah,
and
he's been around for a while.
Yeah, he
He's been
kind of
around.
has the same vibe where he's just generic person.
I think he just doesn't have quite the charisma that feels personal.
Yeah,
That's it. But like I've seen
no.
matches
There
with
is
him.
something. There's a lack of charisma there. Or something.
Yeah,
I don't
something's
know.
going on there. Finn Balor was came out in the Men's Royal Rumble, and they've done something to his character where he goes by Prince now or something. And
Yeah, it was like Prince, and I was like, huh.
yeah, what is that? And I don't know what the deal with him is. I'm just sad because I wanted his first run in WWE to be awesome, and it just didn't. It feels like it kind of fell flat, and I don't know
Right.
where he goes from here. I was a little bit sad that Alexa Bliss just didn't have a big night because I love her.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that sort of thing where it's like, every now and then they're just not like Becky Lynch. It was the same where it felt like Becky Lynch was kind of like, this is not my, like, I'm not a big part of tonight. You know, I'm in and out, and everybody loves me anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was sad to hear that apparently Carmella hasn't been on the show for a while, like, and may not return. I guess that's like the rumors I'm reading. Because like I love Carmella, I think she's one of the best heels they ever had. And yeah, I just she's not part of it anymore. That makes me
I
sad.
remember Carmella. I had
She's
to look her
so
up again.
good.
Yeah,
She's so good.
She was a heel, right?
Yeah.
She was a real. Yeah,
She was so good, like a perfect heel. She was actually a little bit the version of the heel that you liked, which is she's too good and like doesn't want to wrestle, and like like there's a little bit of that. in
Yeah,
her.
was she the one who's like a lot of them do the kind of mean girl vibes?
Yes, she was the most of that. She was
yeah,
the most of that.
exactly.
She was great. I really like her. I just really believe in her. I want them to find something with her again.
Yeah.
And apparently there's just been a few people that have left the business that make me sad. Like they never found it with Shinsuke Nakamura. Apparently, like he's not. I don't think he's on the roster anymore. And it's like, man,
Oh, I remember him.
yeah, I loved him. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he's becoming like a doing real estate and he's really successful.
He's still wrestling, Dave. He's just not wrestling for WWE.
Maybe he's flipping houses.
Well, you can make a dollar in the climate.
He could be
we're in.
flipping houses and flipping dudes. That could be his whole
dudes.
thing.
He could be flipping dudes into houses.
Yeah.
Like let me flip you into this house.
Yeah.
So also Sasha Banks apparently has had a big falling out with WWE, and it sucks because I really like her. That's all. Those are just people I missed and wish we had more of them.
Oh, okay.
I
also remember Sasha Banks. Yeah.
yeah, she's great. Last big question that I have for you, Dave, is do you
Final
think
wrestling names?
No, but I want to hear that too. Do you think this bloodline thing can resolve without The Rock being involved?
I think it can.
Okay.
Because if they can't afford The Rock, if they can't get him, then it certainly will be resolved. But I guarantee they're fucking knocking on his door, right?
They should
and they're
be.
like, we want The Rock.
That would be it would be
When
so
was the last
great.
time The Rock showed up in one of these?
It's been a couple years, I think.
Yeah, I assume if it's like that thing where he's like, if I'm promoting a movie or something, I'll jump in there. Like I always imagine The Rock is like, they pay him a good amount of money and he'll jump in and it's like, but like he'll get older and eventually he won't want to,
He retired in 2019, apparently. He retired, quote unquote, retired on October 4th, 2019.
But I assumed it's like John Cena, where it's like, yeah, maybe you'll get him back at some point. But they're clearly onto other things. That said, it would be awesome. Like again, I'm guarantee they're asking him, right?
I mean, I think that anytime he wanted to do it, he certainly could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely said as recently as last year that he would wrestle again. So I don't.
This would be a good place for it.
I just think it'd be really fun to see what happens if he's involved in this bloodline feud somehow.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't it feel like he should be connected to it? Because I think he's related to Roman Reigns, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know,
he is. I'm pretty sure.
I just any reason to see The Rock back,
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up. Are they related? I'm pretty sure they are. They're not blood related, but they're blood brothers. And they both belong to the Ananoi clan, so they are both Samoan, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so they're not actually related. Okay. That's good to know.
But he could still get involved.
Oh, wait,
Again,
wait.
I want him to get involved, so.
Wait, I'm seeing that they are real life cousins in a different article.
Sounds like conflicting stories.
Okay, then I don't know for sure. But it does seem like he could be involved, right? Like,
Sure.
that would be fun.
That would be fun. I would enjoy that.
Yeah. Anyway, that'd be fun.
Stone Cold, he's just doing podcasts, right? We're never going to see him back.
No, he comes out every once in a while.
Does he?
He and Kevin Owens had a wrestling match.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, isn't that
I gotta
fun?
watch that.
I gotta watch that
Yeah.
too. So, Dave, the one you really need to watch, I was telling you this when we were watching it, but I'll tell it for the fans' sake. So, Dave's never seen this. I think it's one of the best examples of drama in a WWE match, like you were watching. The
Right.
best that I can think of is WrestleMania X7. Okay, and what happened is The Rock and Stone Cold were both going for the title, and it's the one where Stone Cold went evil. And like he turned heel and nobody expected it. And you just need to watch it because the drama of it is fucking awesome. It's really well done. Yeah, it's really good. You should watch it for that reason.
I'll try to watch it. Sounds great.
Yeah, any other wrestler ideas, Dave?
Now it's just kind of names here. I have the cat fucker. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I got Yeti Spaghetti.
Wait, do you have that or does Hana have that one? Which one
I
have you
got this
pitched
on my
that?
notes.
Okay. Sure.
Yeti Spaghetti, I think would be fun.
That's not bad. Yeah, Yeti Spaghetti. Sure.
Large Italian man.
Yeah.
The Sweaty Librarian. That one's also self-explanatory. That's all I got.
It just feels like these are almost Family Guy jokes. Like they're almost like mash a couple of weird words together and see what comes of it.
Well, you paint a picture in people's minds and then you let it go from there.
Yeah, and then
like
you
I
let
don't
it
think
be
there's
gross.
anything wrong with starting with a name and then seeing what you get. You know,
There's nothing
like what
wrong
would the cat
with it.
fucker? What does the cat fucker mean to you?
There is absolutely no way that any wrestling promotion could ever name their character the cat fucker. That could never happen.
I don't know. Maybe like the indie circuit.
That's like naming their character the actual Harry Potter. You can't do it, man. You cannot do that. That'd be kind of funny, though. Actual Harry Potter.
Actual Harry Potter would be fun.
It'd be an amazing wrestling character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he fucks cats. The Harry Potter fucks cats.
Right. That's where you actually get to work your angle in, Dave.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the real wizardry he's pulling. That's its claim to warlockdom.
Yeah.
Are we done, or do we want to keep doing this?
I think we did enough damage here.
Okay. Well, no doubt.
I want to thank Norm from Cheers once again. Norm.
Sure. Thank you, Norm.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. If anybody wants to draw some concept art for the penis, Mrs. Soup, the cat fucker, Yeti Spaghetti, or Sweaty Librarian, let me know.
Wait a minute.
Adam,
or actual Harry Potter.
Or
right?
actual Harry Potter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Or like Reluctant Guy, whatever that was. Adam, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, my pleasure.
You want to plug some stuff real quick?
No.
Or slow.
I plugged up top, and I just like to remind everybody that we love you guys on Small Beans and certainly Gamefully, and those of you who have been longtime fans of One-Upsmanship, hey, we're so grateful for you guys' reviews.
Yes.
And for sharing the podcast. If you're willing to do that, that would be really helpful to us, because we want to be what we already are, which is the best video game podcast on the internet. So make that true with us.
Keep it going. Keep those balls in the air.
Keep our balls
juggling
in
wrestler
the air.
who just juggles while wrestling.
The juggler, right?
Yeah. We the Gamefully Unemployed patreon.com/Gamefully Unemployed. There's some shit on there. We do podcasts with the Small Beans, Star Trek: The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. We also have exclusive stuff. Tom and Jeff Watch Batman. Fuck the Smolder is a Maniac. We watch movies every Friday night. GamefullyUnemployed.com will get you a link to our merch store. Check all that out today.
Man, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. That was really cool
great.
of us.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, this was cool.
This was cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the drinks I made you? Can you plug my drinks?
Adam made very good drinks.
It feels sincere because he said it without me asking.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. He's a barista. He was doing professional level coffee drinks and then it was adorable. You're taking pictures of it. You're very and it was a lot
I'm so
of
proud of you. Yeah, so proud of you.
Yeah, you were doing a lot of drinks. Who wants another round of drinks? And it was like you'd like to challenge. Yeah, you making your drinks. Next time I want some more of your sodas.
I wanted
'Cause
to
I didn't
make
get
one
enough
for you.
soda.
Yeah. I wanted to make one for you. Yeah, I mean, you can come over
Delish.
anytime.
Delish. All
You
right.
and,
Yeah.
you and Hannah can come over like anytime.
Okay.
You know?
Did you like my cat shirt?
So I enjoyed that there is a cat shirt. I enjoy the origin story of the cat shirt. I enjoy a lot of things about it. I'm just very tired of your cats, but I like
fair.
the shirt.
That's fair.
I liked
Yeah,
it.
I have a custom made Hawaiian shirt with my cats on it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's where I am at in life, you know?
Winning.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, good times.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.